Does this sound familiar? You have a lot to do. You have a VA, maybe one other person on your team. You, instead of giving things to them, think, you know what? It'd be easier and faster if I just did it myself. I'll just do it myself. And then you're overwhelmed. Does that sound familiar? Have you experienced that before? I know a lot of entrepreneurs that have been in that boat. I've been in that boat myself before. It is sometimes so much easier to just say, I'll do it myself. The problem is, unless you always want to do it yourself, unless you don't want to grow, unless you don't want to take vacation or take time off, you're going to have to learn how to delegate, learn how to trust other people on your team. Now, here's how I do it. We have a really great team. I have a small but mighty team. There's me, my right hand woman, and a VA. But the person that's my right hand woman now, she started as a VA with us a few years ago. So let me take you through the process and hopefully that will help you on your own journey. The first thing that I did was shift my expectations. I know that if I'm doing something, it's going to be done a certain way because it's the way I've always done it. That does not necessarily mean it's the best way. It's just the best way that I know of right now. So I had to say, okay, I want this person to do it in a certain way, but I also want them to have the freedom to see things from their own perspective and see what can be done better. And so what we do is we create an SOP. An SOP is a standard operating procedure. Anytime I have something new that I need to task out, we have an SOP. Now, I used to create them myself. What I do now is I will record a video showing somebody on my team how to do something and the way that I'd like it done. And then from there, they take that video, they put it into Descript and get the transcript, and then upload that transcript into ChatGPT, where they ask it to create an SOP for them based on the transcript. And so that it takes the transcript and it turns it into a step-by-step document that says exactly what to do each step of the way. From there, then they take it and they practice it, they test it out. If they have any questions as they're going, those are the things that they let me know that we can be more specific on. And then as they are continuing to do it, if there's something they notice that could be done faster, more efficiently, better, then they update the SOP and they do it that way. So as long as the intent stays the same or the intent of the task that they're doing stays the same. In other words, as long as the thing that I want to get done gets done, I really don't care how it gets done as long as it gets done. And so that is one way that we do it. Now, when somebody's first starting to do something new on our team, typically I will review it. I'll let them know, here's what I really like. Here are some things to work on. And we set up that kind of culture of you're going to get feedback and that's normal. And then I also set it up where I ask for feedback too. Are you enjoying what you're doing? Is there anything we can do more efficiently? Anything that we can do better so that your life is a little bit easier? I did not always do that at first. And before I started doing that, I found that some of the team that I used to have would feel frustrated because they're like, oh, this isn't efficient and it's taking up their time. I don't want my team to feel frustrated. I want them to stick around long term. And so I want to have that feedback too. So we set up a culture where not only was it normal for them to get feedback from me, but it was also normal for them to give me feedback as well. What's working, what's not working. And then I also asked them for their suggestions, their advice based on the work that they've already done. So they are becoming an expert in whatever that SOP is. And so there might be something that can be done more efficiently. So I want to know, I want to ask them that. And so once I started letting go in that way, it made things a lot easier. So step one was to create the SOP. Step two is to give feedback and make that a part of just normal culture. I find that people that struggle with receiving that feedback typically don't last very long on the team simply because in order for us to grow, there has to be feedback. It is not anything personal. It's nothing to be upset about. It's just, hey, we're working on this together because ultimately we have the same goal. I want to keep people on my team as long as possible because that's less turnover. That's less extra work for me, essentially. And so I want to keep people on my team as long as possible. And so that means anytime I do give feedback, it's not because I just like giving feedback. It's because we have the same goal to have something that will continue to move forward. Because when the company moves forward, not only does that mean extra revenue for me, extra impact, it also means extra revenue for them or extra money that we can pay them and like bonuses and stuff like that. But it also means extra impact for them, bigger impact for them as well. And so when we continue to stay focused on this is the goal, this is why we're giving feedback, here's how I think it'll help, here's the updates that I'd like you to make, that makes a huge difference. And then the third thing is continuing to uphold the standards that we've set, even when it's uncomfortable or even when it doesn't seem like a big deal. For example, I have everyone contact me through Slack. If it's an emergency, then my right-hand woman can contact me through Boxer, Facebook, text. She'll just message me however she can find me. But that doesn't happen very often. So the majority of the time, like 99.9% of the time, anytime we're talking about business, we talk about it in Slack. If we want to talk about friend stuff, we talk about it in Boxer. But we have these specific channels set up so that everything has a place. So that when I'm looking for something, I don't have to look in 19 different channels because it's all in the same channel. And so when we first started doing that, it was uncomfortable and weird. And like, it was just hard to remember because we had been connecting in Facebook and Instagram, or not, I guess in Instagram too, and Voxer, like all these different places about business. And then we were losing stuff. And it's just hard. Like, it's easy for things to fall through the cracks when that happens. And that's when we started to implement, all right, business stuff only goes in Slack. But it was challenging at first because anytime one of us put something that was business related in Voxer or on Facebook, we would have to say to the other, okay, we're going to move it over to Slack. We're not talking about business stuff here. We'd have to remind ourselves and remind each other. And at first, it felt like I almost felt like I was being micromanaged. Like I felt like it's really not a big deal, Brittany. Why are you making this a big deal? It's not a big deal. Just do whatever. But I stuck with it because I thought, no, I think this is going to be really helpful. So I stuck with it. The more I stuck with it, the more I saw, okay, this makes a big difference. It's so much easier to find stuff. Nothing's falling through the cracks. And so we've stuck with that now. If we had found that it really did make a difference, then sure, we're going to be more lax on that. It doesn't actually matter. But one communication channel has made a huge difference. And so you'll find those things as you go along. It will be weird at first, especially if you have a team that you haven't really been giving feedback to or you haven't had SOPs for. It can be challenging at first to do that. It can also be challenging at first to even create the SOPs in the first place. You might think, I just don't have any time. I just need them to do it. I just need them to know what to do or to figure it out. I hear people say that sometimes. But if you tell somebody to do something, they're going to do it the best way they know how. And if they don't know how to at all, they're going to look on Google. And that might be great, or it could be not what you want. And so it's important to have those SOPs and to take the time to do it. It does not have to take long. So the next time that you're getting ready to do something you want to hand off, or you think you could hand off, or you thought, I'd love to hand this off, but it's going to take too long. I might as well do it myself. Record yourself and what you're doing. Talk through the process out loud. Say, I'm doing this, or I'm clicking here because while you're clicking there. Record that and then have them create the SOP for it. All you have to do is the thing you would normally do anyway. Then they can take the rest and start taking that process on. I know it's not always easy to trust other people when it comes to your business and your brand. You poured so much of your heart and your soul into it. But if you want to have a bigger impact, if you want to have more revenue, if you want to be able to take time off without your business imploding, it is imperative that you're not the only person that knows everything. If everything is in your head and something happens to you, your business is gone. That's it. Nothing can continue on because you don't have any systems in place. At this point in our business, we have one brand that's running pretty much without me, which is Win with Systems. Win with Systems is our email marketing brand, evergreen email marketing brand. We have an evergreen email agency with that. My right-hand woman runs that. I do review the emails, but everything else is done with the team. We have some writers on that side. We have workshops. We have a course, a program, and all of those things on an autopilot through our evergreen sequence. Those systems are set in place so that brand can run on its own. We get to help people have the emails in place where they can take off time because their emails are selling for them. So I love that. And then we have impact driven AI, and that's the one that now we're setting up these systems for. We already have the systems for the other one. Now we get to set up the systems for this one. That means that as a multi-passionate person, I can do anything I want as long as those systems are in place and I have somebody in place to run those systems for me. It also means I can take off. I took off, I think it was a few weeks, 3 weeks maybe in May because I was at conferences and stuff like that. So I just wasn't really able to work like I normally would. I was working at the conference, like being there, being present, networking, stuff like that. And so my team was able to continue things on because we have the systems in place. I know that it can be challenging, but you can do this. Start today. Start with one new system that you can give your team. Record one thing that you want them to start doing. That's where you start. Just one thing. You got this. If you have any questions, let us know. If you want to see how to turn in tasks into SOPs, we actually have information about how to do that in AI Copy Club. AI Copy Club is our $9 a month membership that has over 200 trainings and prompts and live implementation calls so you can ask questions and a lot of things. So $9 a month for that. I'll put the link below. But really what you need to know is it is possible to create these things and it's possible to do all of it so much faster. One, with a team, even a teeny tiny team like I have, and then 2 with ChatGPT and just in general AI. All right. We'll talk to you soon.